guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Thank you for being a little bit patient with us as we show up about 8 minutes late for our 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time broadcast. I know, but I wish we could be a little bit more punctual. It's just not who we are. You know, it's just probably not going to ever change.
Maybe if we had a production team.
Maybe because, I had to get all this set up after doing a pet visit. All right, you guys, today is November 10th. Yeah, the day after my birthday. I should know that. 2017. Should we hit them with the top story first, or what do you want to go with?
My brain is on fuzz right now because I'm not done. I had a sentence here.
Well, I know, but I thought, well, if your brain's on fuzz, then I could remind them all that we were on InfoWars in case they forgot.
Okay.
Or missed it while your brain unfuzzed it.
No, my brain isn't going to unfuzz all night. Go ahead.
So in case you missed it, Leah and I were on InfoWars 2 nights ago at like prime time. It was like 8 o'clock. And we're on there with Millie Weaver and Leanne McAdoo. We literally thought they were going to give us like a 5 or 10 minute little kind of segment. We didn't know it was going to be close to like almost 25 minutes long. It was crazy. So I'm hoping that you guys caught it. If you did not, it is in our videos. I was able to download. They made like its own clip. Okay. They were doing a 34-hour broadcast on the anniversary of the election. And 6 hours before we went on, I get a message from Millie's husband, Gavin, who we had met at the Red Pill Expo. And he says, would the Resistance Chicks like to be on InfoWars tonight? Now, to me, there's only one answer to that. Everybody's like, well, what's the topic going to be? Are you going to say yes? It doesn't matter what the topic's going to be, man. Yes, we're going to be on. So I can geek out about it a little bit. So now I've done the little, yay! You can go and unfuzz.
Yeah, no, I can't unfuzz because the two things that we're going to cover first, and then we're going to cover there was another attack in France today, which is awful. So a guy plowed into 3 people. Or a group of people.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
But the reason my brain is on fuzz is because I woke up to this comedian.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Twitter and I see what's happening. I see Mark Dice. What is Mark Dice tweeting out? What's PJ Watson tweeting out? What's, what are all the my favorites who I follow? What are they tweeting out? Well, they were tweeting out this Louis C.K. I might have that backwards in the title. His name was Louis.
Louis C.K. C.K. Lewis.
Yeah, you might want to fix that.
Oh, yeah, but you told me to put that in there.
I don't really know who he is. I just know what he's done.
I can fix it. Fix it right this second. Boom. I can just put comedian Louis.
Louis C.K.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, sorry.
What name is that anyway?
I don't know. It's a name for like a horrible person, I guess. He's a horrible person. But I was ready to, to cover this guy, and then I see Roy Moore coming up, and I hear
what
Alex
is with
Jones
that
coming up, and so there are these allegations that both have been alleged with different allegations. So I want to break down each person. I can tell you that Louis C.K.'s allegations are true because he came out and said they weren't.
Good for him.
So he said, yes, I've done this. He said,
well, kind of caught me with my hand in the... it's not even a cookie jar, man.
No. You caught me with my pants down.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what he's accused of doing. And it's worse than that. It goes way deeper than just him exposing himself. He goes on to say, yeah, I guess I got into a place of position and power, and I didn't realize that when I offered to expose myself to women, some people might, some might not take that so well, and I might be abusing my position of power to say, hey, can I take my pants down for you? So
most women,
but he actually
don't want to see what you got there, man. Unless it's your significant other, dude. Just nobody wants to see that. Ain't nobody want to see it.
There's a few steps that these sexual predators seem to miss.
Yeah.
Wooing.
Love.
Would you like to go out to dinner?
Yeah.
Would you like to have coffee? No. Normal people don't just say, "Hey, how you doing?
Can I show you my willy?"
Yep. That is this man, C.K. Lewis. And he came out and said that it is true that he has done this and he does do this. But what's even more disgusting and vile is he's a vile person. And if you have kids in the room,
most comedians on Comedy Central, I would say 100% of them are vile.
But no, I don't think any comedian would do this joke. It's not funny, and I'm going to play it for you. And
do I need to close my ears?
No, it's not that kind of gross. It's just really bad.
Okay.
I'm curious what their kid looks like because they're so beautiful. Maybe I want to fuck their kid. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Nope.
Sorry.
It's buffering conveniently.
I'll make it smaller. Oh, of course it's going to stop playing.
Fuck a kid. I wouldn't do that. Maybe a dead kid. Who are you hurting? He's dead. Who are you hurting? I'm not saying I would kill a kid and fuck him. I'm saying if I found a dead kid in the field and it wasn't raining, I might take a shot. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation.
That's like psychopath. That's like a psychopath.
How does he not get arrested?
How does he, I mean, it takes women saying that he, exposed himself to them for him to be ousted out. There's Jasper. She's really upset about this. I was like, I can't believe that this guy, he's even, you don't joke about pedophilia, number one. And then he goes on to say, of course I wouldn't kill a kid. And the way he says it, to F them. I mean, this is vile. This is pedophilia. This is a guy who watches a lot of nasty porn. Okay? And, when I saw this, I was so, taken aback and was like, oh my gosh, what is this dude? Who is this guy? Well, I guess he had a movie come out. It was called Why Louis C.K.'s I Love You Daddy premiere was canceled abruptly. It was called I Love You Daddy. And I'm not going to show you the trailer for that because it was just repulsively bad. But it literally is an homage to Woody Allen's Manhattan, which we covered before, but it makes it even worse. The girl who plays the love interest is 17 years old and going after a 68-year-old dude. And I guess he made this movie himself. He produced it himself. He directed it himself. And he starred in it. And he's got teen rape jokes in it. And it's just an homage to some horrible things. And rightfully so, people are pulling his work, and Netflix has, I guess, cut off ties with him, and this movie was getting ready to premiere, and it cut off ties. I was a little bit disappointed in some of the people who were saying, I'm still going to see it anyways. I'm going to wait until the allegations are proven false or whatever. But when you have him on his own comedy show saying, I don't know, I might take a shot at a dead kid. That's ground for tie you up and put you in a insane asylum for forever. So then that's cut and dry. This guy's done. He's a Harvey Weinstein. He's done. Hopefully he's done. Hopefully he's gone the way of Kevin Spacey, who, I guess another accuser came out against Kevin Spacey. This time the boy's mom comes out and says that her son was sexually abused by Kevin Spacey at a bar. I think we told you guys about that one. So Spacey's done. This guy's done. Weinstein's done. There's another director who directed X-Men Last Stand. He had all the rights to Hugh Hefner's movie rights. He was going to make a biopic about Hugh Hefner. He's done, thank God. So all these guys are done. So my gut says about Roy Moore, when I first saw this, was that this is a Clinton hit job.
Right.
And they're going to blame all Republicans now.
Right.
Or conservatives for backing and supporting him, because we have been jumping on the bandwagon of pretty much people who have been being accused. So I'm going to tell you a few of the things about what he's being accused of. The Washington Post wrote an article saying that he had a habit of dating teens or teenagers. and that one of them specifically was a 14-year-old. However, it says that Moore forced her into at least 2 unwanted sexual encounters, one where he kissed her and one where he touched her. And the thing of it is that this particular person, the 14-year-old, he has come out to say that he doesn't even know who she is from anybody. He never talked to her. He never had any contact with her. Allegations of sexual misconduct with her are completely false. He says, I believe they are politically motivated. I believe they are brought only to stop a very successful campaign, and that's what they've been doing. I've never known this woman. I also smell a rat because Mitch McConnell has called on Moore to resign if the allegations are true. And everybody, all the swamp creatures are coming out and saying, you know, he was evil, he was bad. Now, right. Debbie Weston Gibson says she was 17 this is from Hannity, there was an interview. Debbie Gibson says she was 17 when you spoke to her high school civics class and asked her out on several dates. Hannity said it did not progress. Her words beyond kissing. According to Washington Post, let's stay on her. Did that happen? Moore replied that he could not remember speaking to a civics class and that while he remembered Weston Gibson, he did not recall going on a date with her. When asked again if Hannity, by Hannity, if he ever dated her ever, Moore replied, I knew her as a friend. If we did go out on dates, then we did, but I do not remember that. Moore also acknowledged that he remembers Gloria Thatcher Deason, who is also named in the report. She said she was 18 at the time of her alleged relationship with Moore, but Moore also went on to deny her allegation that he provided her with alcohol when she was 1 year below the legal drinking age, which was 19 at the time. She said she believed she was underage, Moore said. As I recall, she was 19 or older. That just never happened. I never provided alcohol, beer, or intoxicating liquid to a minor. Liquor, sorry. Hannity pressed Moore on the general substance of the allegations that he was dating teenagers while he was well into adulthood. At that time in your life, would it be unusual for you as a 32-year-old guy to have dated a woman as young as 17? He says, not generally, no. If I did, I'm not going to dispute anything, but I don't remember anything like that. As Moore refuses to step down from his campaign, GOP leaders are weighing potential options to ensure he does not become senator.
And that's the entire crux of this, of the whole thing.
So Moore is being as honest as he can. Alabama at the time, the age of consent, and this is something that I really hate to argue with because this whole movie I told you about, I Love You Daddy, that makes me sick to my stomach is this guy chooses a 17-year-old to hook up with a 68-year-old.
So, I want to clarify something really quickly because a lot of people, we always try to give the victim the platform first.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
you can't mess around with this kind of thing.
Right.
However, you do have to use sound judgment.
Right.
And in our case, we use the Holy Spirit. So when we see the fruits, the Bible says you shall know them by their fruits. We first have to look at the fruits of Louis C.K. And then we look at the fruits of Roy Moore. Okay. And Roy Moore almost lost, and he was like almost put in jail. I mean, he almost had to step down from the bench because he wouldn't remove the 10 Commandments from behind his bench when he sat as a judge. All right. So this guy has stood staunchly for morality and goodness throughout the years. Then we have Louis C.K. as the vile clip that we just showed you, saying that, you know what, he's not sure if he would blank a dead kid because he's not come across that situation yet. But it sounded to me an awful lot like he would be happy to come across that situation and make that decision. Right. Now, earlier, I was reading in Mark. I use the Geneva Study Bible, chapter 6. And Jesus says, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own home country and among his own kindred and in his own house. Now, the study note says, not only that hath the honor which of right is due to him taken from him, but also evil spoken of and misreported. Meaning that the prophet isn't just, a prophet is supposed to be a good person, obviously, from the Lord telling, you know, the people what the Lord is saying and stuff like that. But it's not that the prophet would be without honor that he is due, but also that he would be lied about, misspoken of, and misrepresented and slandered. So, yes, we need to side with the victims. until we can make a sound judgment call just to find out, all right, we're not sure about you. You get put on hold for a second, right? But in this instance, I'm going to call it by the fruit of the people. And I believe that this is an attack because they were very upset about the fact that Steve Bannon has said, you know what? If I'm not in the White House, that's fine. I'm going to go and clean the swamp from the outside. And he started with Judge Roy Moore. So the fact that they have come out with such a heinous slander, taking advantage, and that's the thing. You probably... I mean, to me, it goes without saying that they would easily go, now, how can we get this guy? How can we get this guy? And they're like in some sort of meeting and somebody says, well, sexual allegations seem to work. It's hot topic right now. Everybody's ready to throw everybody under the bus. So if we just throw him in with the mix, maybe it'll stick.
Right.
It's not going to stick because of the judgment, or not the judgment, because of the character of this man. I don't know him.
Right.
But my gut says this is a false accusation. You guys can make your own decision.
Yeah, so this Leah Korfman is the 14-year-old who has been said that she was sexually assaulted. And some people are saying that she's like a Democratic operative, or one of the women is a Democratic operative. It's a really confusing story right now, so I wish I could bring you more on this. However, Roy says that he says...
Lisa says, hello, Roy Moore's accuser worked for his opponent.
Yeah, there's 4 of them, but you're right. One of them was a Democratic operative. And Moore said, nobody that abuses a 14-year-old at age 32 or age 17, it doesn't matter. If you abuse a 14-year-old, you shouldn't be a Senate candidate. I agree with that, but I did not do that. He says, I don't know Miss Korfman from anybody. I've never talked to her, never had any contact with her. Allegations of sexual misconduct are completely false. Moore did say that he recognized 2 of the other women. I told you that. He said he dated a lot of young ladies after ending his stint in the military and couldn't rule out that he may have dated some women in their teens. Like I said before...
He didn't say he slept with them.
No. And it's interesting is he says... And everybody, the media is jumping on this. He never dated anyone without their mother's consent. So it's very interesting that, it could have been an innocent, like, dating. Like, I'm just going to take you out on a date. You're,
right.
He came back from the military at 32 years old. And at that time, probably most women in their 20s were married. So
no, I'm not.
It's kind of a thing. I don't want to really make excuses, but
right.
But he ended up marrying a single mom who was 23, and I don't know. He says,
although it is kind of interesting to me, he must have just led a different kind of life than obviously what we lead. The fact that he's like, I don't know, I may have dated. It's like he must have really been dating, and some people just do that. They just kind of go out. Hey, do you want to go hang out? It's not an actual
we have a friend like that. Oh, there goes Sydney. We love Sydney.
I saved it. Is she late?
No, she's right there.
No, I'll have to fix it, man.
Okay, come out and fix it.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Sydney, what are you doing?
God bless you.
Here, right there. Go over there. Thank you.
We aren't daters, obviously. We don't believe in dating. We believe in courtship.
Well,
but
we have our one friend who, it's a country thing, I think, to keep at a certain mindset. You just kind of hey, you want to go out to eat? Hey, you want to do this? And it's just kind of a thing.
This seems really dark to me.
Yeah, it does.
No, you can't see yourself. What do you mean, yeah, it does?
Well, I saw it at the corner of my eye.
Oh, okay.
Right. So anyways, you guys can leave your comments in there. Any way you spin this is a hit job. They are not concerned about these women who dated Moore in their teens.
Right.
No, the Washington Post, and as Breitbart and Bannon said, this is the same Washington Post, Amazon, Bezos guy who dropped the hit job on Donald Trump. Bear with me now
while I fix the setting on this so I can bring it. No, you stop moving stuff.
What?
Nothing.
So, the Zero Hedge article says this is evident. There's evidence of collusion. And I don't know. It's just really frustrating because I really do think that I know that Hillary Clinton is in cahoots with the Russians. So, of course, she's been going on and on nonstop.
Right.
Their theme is accuse other people of what you're guilty of.
Exactly.
And the fact that the fact that Bill Clinton's even alive today, why he's not in prison, his friend is Epstein, you know, the whole Lolita Express thing, and how come every victim is automatically assumed to be telling the truth unless they're accusing Bill Clinton.
That's true, isn't it? It's a little bit
no
ironic
one
there.
who accuses Bill Clinton is ever believed by anybody on the left.
What is wrong with this dog?
Bubby? Hey, Ted. Hey, buddy. So I just don't understand how we can go through all these years where Alec Baldwin, we told you about, he made that movie, that sex movie with the 16-year-old, and he gets an award for playing Donald Trump as a pervert.
Right.
Woody Allen married his stepdaughter, and he's still around.
Stepdaughter or
Yeah.
like adopted?
It was stepdaughter. It was Mia Farrow's adopted daughter.
But I thought they adopted her together.
No, not that one. There was another one. He molested his adopted daughter.
Okay.
And
And
nobody believed her. Everybody said she was lying.
Of course. Lisa, though, has a good point. Why do these women wait for 20 to 30 years
38
before
years.
coming forward? John Smith says it's all a farce. All this just happens to come out right at election time.
When he's talking about Deason, as I recall, she was 19 or older. I remember her as a good girl. You know, I believe that even if Roy Moore was dating these girls, he was just dating them.
Right.
And I don't think that that's even a concept for the people on the left and the liberals.
Ooh.
Sydney again.
Yeah, old lady. Dude, Jasper's birthday is today, and she is 13. She's our husky. So, Sheila says, the fact that we have to debate a male over 20 thinking and acting on a sexual desire toward children is friggin' insane. Well said.
Well said.
Very well said.
Well said. So we're gonna keep you updated on Roy Moore.
I'm calling it. I am calling it as listen, as Resistance Chicks. I don't always put my name and opinion behind something right off the bat because I want to wait and see what happens. I'm calling this one. Roy Moore is innocent here.
So on the radio with Sean Hannity, he says, the last line, Moore had then told Hannity that they have some evidence of collusion but are not ready to release that to the public just yet. And what does beg another question is, the Washington Post article says something eerily weird. None of the victims know each other. How did the reporter find these 4 girls?
Very good question.
What did she just canvass all over, knocking on everyone's door saying, did you date Roy Moore? Do you have any juice on him? Do you have any dirt on him?
Yeah.
Did she just go to knocking door to door to all these people?
No.
He only remembers 2 of them and doesn't remember the 14-year-old.
So Albert points out something that I believe is very pertinent. Dating 40 years ago was a lot different, and this is a money grab scandal. And then John Daniel says, feminists want to conflate flirting with a violent sexual assault. This leads to witch hunting. And that is something that we have to address here on Resistance Chicks. There are the victims and these vile men that do these awful things like Louis C.K., Harvey Weinstein, etc. Then there are the women, the feminists that come out and all of a sudden they want to cry that they have been, manhandled or harassed or something like that, when that's not at all what it was. Going back to the statement of 40 years ago, dating was a lot different than it is today.
And it's just completely, you look at Louis C.K. and Weinstein, they didn't even ask these girls out. They didn't take them on dates. It was, hey, I want to pull my pants out. You want to join me?
Right.
It's night and day. It's 2 different things. If we want to talk about, that's why I believe the age of consent is 18. It's 18. It's 18. Okay.
Right.
And in some states it's not. Okay. And in some countries it's not. So you can, I actually look at somebody's, what are your intentions? Are your intentions to get to know somebody so that you can eventually marry somebody?
Right.
Then you probably have good intentions.
Yeah.
But Woody Allen doesn't have those kind of intentions.
No, if he's going to take a girl out, it's so that he can get some sort of something out of her by the end of the day.
Well, remember Woody Allen also made a movie with that 16-year-old French girl, I think, and in which she had never even been kissed, and he got it on. He filmed her first kiss.
This is my face about that.
Attacking her. She goes. She was nervous about it. He said, "Don't worry." And when that scene happened, he just attacked her. And then he waited until she was 18 and offered to. He wanted to take her to Paris, and her parents wanted her to go, and she said, "Mom and Dad, I think there's only going to be one room." So this is predatorial behavior,
right?
So I want to make that clear and kind of put that out there because it makes me sick to my stomach to think about. And I think that Roy Moore is, I'm going to put my money on the fact that he is a righteous dude. He didn't do anything wrong. And that this is a smear campaign because I look at even Mitt Romney came out and said right away, I believe Leah Kaufman and he needs to step down. Really? Did you believe any of Bill Clinton's accusers? Any one of them? These are adult women who went on camera who we could listen to their accusations. I mean, Hillary Clinton got a rapist off who knew he had raped a 14-year-old girl, and she laughed about it on tape, and the whole left covered it up. I mean, this is the left that we know. This is the disgusting perverts, and so
it goes. You can't just have it one way or the other. There's going to be the people that are making legitimate claims, and there are going to be the false accusers, and that is a political hammer that they have used since Thomas Jefferson.
Absolutely, with Sally Hemings.
And almost every single one of our founding fathers has been slandered by saying they have mistresses.
Right, exactly.
I'm not sure that I can think of one that is actually true.
Right.
Off the top of my head.
Right.
The ones that we know of are false.
Absolutely false. Yeah. So
Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, those are all false. False.
Yeah, when you read their writings, these are righteous guys who actually have self-control. That something that people today do not understand.
Would you put cheese in the dog's food, please? Dog food.
All right, so I can't really handle this much more. So we'll bring you more later. So this is another thing that really can't stand doing, but we have to. French car attack hurt students near Toulouse. A driver has plowed into a group of students near the southern-western French city of Toulouse, injuring 3. One of the injured is said to be in serious condition. All 3 are thought to be Chinese. The incident occurred outside a college in the suburb of Blanc, and French media quote police sources as saying the incident was deliberate, but the driver, reported to be age 28, was not on a security watch list. He was arrested several minutes later. Police say the man had several previous minor convictions, notably drug-related. Unconfirmed reports say he had a history of mental illness, including acute schizophrenia. Another newspaper quoted him as telling police he had heard voices telling him to harm someone. The injured students were said to be ages 22 and 23. And he stated that his act was motivated by a desire to ram into people. He had been preparing it, as he said, for about 1 month.
Wow.
So he admits to it. He said he wanted to hurt people,
but he had voices in his head.
Yeah.
It's just like the Texas shooter.
Yeah, exactly. It does. So while we're there in France, this was tweeted out on the 8th. More than 10 jihadis planning an attack on Nice, where 86 people were slaughtered in the truck jihad attack last year, were arrested for a potential attack.
At least 10 people have been arrested by counter-terrorism police in raids in France and Switzerland. Local media report that plans for an attack on the French Riviera city of Nice were foiled. This is where 86 people died in a truck attack last year. Today's raids took place in Paris and the country's southeastern region, as well as in Switzerland.
Nous aimerions bien comprendre.
This official says we'd like to understand the connection and relation between the arrested people in France and the one in Switzerland. This is what this investigation wants to find out. The raids come just a week after France beefed up its national security laws in the wake of a series of deadly militant attacks.
So isn't that nice? And what could they have done? And everybody says that there's not a problem. There's no problem. We don't have no problem with Islam. No problem at all. This does bring up the Sutherland Springs Church, and I want to give you an update on that. The pastor has said that they are going to raise the church to the ground. They're going to demolish the church. Too many bad memories. And turn it into a prayer garden.
Wow.
And an anonymous donor has offered to pay for a new church building.
Wow.
So
that gives me goosebumps.
The pastor of a tiny Texas church where a madman massacred 26 people and wounded 24 last Sunday once the building torn down. The pastor expressed his desire that perhaps the best way forward is to have the church demolished and replaced with a prayer garden. The Southern Baptist Convention spokesman Roger Singh Oldman told USA Today, the Southern Baptist Convention's president and CEO of the executive committee, Frank Page, and SBC president Steve Gaines confirmed the church will be torn to the ground. And every time I think of this, this makes me sad. And I want to talk to some of the people. Unfortunately, I like the Bernieites on our Facebook page and who watch us because there are open-minded about false flags. However, everything to them is a false flag.
Right. It never happened.
It never happened, and everyone always is lying all the time. And on the video that I posted of the good guy with the gun, what was his name?
It's on the tip of my tongue. Williford.
Stephen Williford. That's right. They were two people that came back and said that this person's lying. Can't you tell? Blah blah blah.
You know what? Actually, from a Christian standpoint, out of all the interviews from all of the people that I have seen from tragedies over the past several months, this whole year, this interview with this man is the one that I absolutely, unequivocally believe.
And his sidekick.
Yeah,
his
Johnny.
sidekick Johnny tells his story the same time, same story over and over and over again. It lines up perfectly with the other guys.
Right, and they actually separated them immediately. Right. That's what Johnny's testimony had said, that they didn't have a chance to speak to each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Literally,
to get their stories together.
The police were right there, and there's the guy, and he shot himself in the head. And yeah,
they separated them immediately. The fact that there were so many facts that came out right away.
And after the media kept getting it wrong, did he shoot him? He came out with a rifle. No. He had a pistol at that point.
They kept
correcting
a flood of information in this instance. And so when we see like the false flags or possible false flags, everything is kind of like, where is the information? Where are the people? How come we can't talk to
even
anybody?
Las Vegas, if there was 600 people injured, where are they? Why is Jesus Campos like on Ellen for like 5 seconds and then he's done?
Right.
Where is anybody? Where are the people? This is like
where are the families of the 56 people that were killed?
Yeah. Where are the funerals and the death certificates and all this craziness? I mean, seriously. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying that I can understand why people question it because we don't have any information.
But we have so much information from this. And that's what, it's very easy to get information from something that really happens.
Video.
And there is a video.
We haven't seen it, but there's a video of it. So, anyways, donor offers to pay for construction of new church. An anonymous donor has stepped up and agreed to fund the construction of the new church. Oldman told the Associated Press that the building is too stark a reminder for the mass killing. And
that makes total sense to me.
Workers replaced the front doors, repaired bullet holes, and painted the outside of the church Thursday. Then a black tarp was wrapped around the portable chain link fence and now surrounds the property. The Southern Baptists are going to pay for the funerals of those in the church because we want to take care of our own. Now, I just want you to put this out there. I am going to make a funny. The Southern Baptists are cheap. They're not going to pay for fake funerals.
That's true.
I'm not making a joke, but they are not going to pay for fake funerals. They're not going to pay for fake caskets.
Nope.
This is a real deal.
Yep.
This is a real thing. And there's going to be viewings for the victims, so you can see them yourself if you want to. So every time I think of this, it hurts me because I know that these are my brothers and sisters in Christ.
Here's another thing that's, it's so easy to go back because their YouTube channel has all of their
sermons on there.
So these are legitimate people. You're probably going to see the same people for however many years. I haven't gone back to look, that they've been streaming their little YouTube.
Right.
Okay. These are real people. You don't get people to act going to church that many weeks in a row.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're dead and they're not going to show up there anymore.
Tiny little town. Everybody knows who's not alive anymore in this tiny
Exactly.
town.
What are they going to relocate all of these people in some sort? I mean, come on, guys. Seriously, this totally happened. So this is one of those things. Now, to get back to the definition of a false flag, it does not mean that this wasn't engineered. That
he didn't have that
Devin Patrick Kelly didn't
mind-altering substance.
Exactly. We don't know. That's the big question.
My conspiracy theory is that the CIA picks guys who are mentally unstable to go and do crazy
and push
things.
them over the edge, brainwash them, whatever. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, our hearts and prayers go out to this whole town.
As a matter of fact, I talked to Millie very briefly on the phone before we went live on InfoWars, and I asked her, because she went down to Sutherland Springs, and she said it's just a regular town, and there is so much heartache there amongst the people that they're just literally heartbroken. So she was there, eyes on the ground. She saw it.
I'm heartbroken for them.
Yeah.
Not to go from this to something kind of interesting and good. Poland is having, I think it's tomorrow. Poland's March for Independence is tomorrow. And Voice of Europe says that they will have people there. And I just want to... You
want to read it?
Yeah, this is the one we showed you.
Okay.
But our strength and power and courage comes from our only Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We are Polish. I'm going to bring you something funny in a second.
Poles.
So,
very godly. Jesus is the King of Poland, literally. They have declared him King of Poland.
Dearly beloved, we are Christian soldiers, the great army of Poland. And when they say that, they do mean a spiritual army.
We cannot forget the fact that history repeats itself.
And he's talking about communism. In 1944, we were persuaded to accept the Soviets. In 2015, we were persuaded to accept the Islamic fundamentalism. We shall never accept it. So tomorrow, I guess there's going to be another big rally. I want to show you this article because I read this last night. And I guess Poland has a very low birth rate. And so they have
this is so great. This is once again, and I mentioned this on InfoWars, didn't I? How embarrassing, but not, because I'm so proud of it. I think it's awesome. Diamond and Silk have their bowl of stupid. Resistance Chicks have the time where we come and tell all of our viewers to go and make babies for their countries.
And so is the Polish government.
This is so fantastic.
First, let me give you a few numbers on why. So here are the Eurostat estimated population trends, and the ones that are highlighted have a decrease in population. Bulgaria is they're predicted to be down like by 17.6% by 2040.
Wow.
And Greece is predicted to be down 13.3%. Poland is predicted to be down 5.7%. But then by 2080, down by 23.6%. Interestingly enough, I wanted to point out that the United Kingdom is not going down, and you guys, you know why.
Yeah, it's not the actual Brits or whoever, Ireland and Scotland and Wales and all that. It's not the indigenous-ish, I guess, people.
The same with Germany.
You have a lot. Your populations are going up because the Muslims are making a lot of babies in your country.
I mean, it's not a coincidence. I mean, you don't have in any other European country the most popular baby name as Mohammed.
That's embarrassing.
How is that a thing?
Yeah.
That the most popular boy baby name all over the entire country pretty much is Mohammed, especially in London.
Yeah.
London Stan.
Oh, don't say that. That's
London
awful.
Stan. Okay,
No.
this is an Islamic invasion. And I want to point that out there. So the good news for you is you get to go around as Brits and try to cultivate long-lasting relationships so that you do raise your children with a mum and a dad.
Playing the commercial.
But yeah, it's there's a couple commercials. The Danes have a commercial too. So Poland has released this ad to encourage citizens to breed like rabbits. The country has one of the lowest birth rates in Europe.
So great.
It's not alone though. The Danish travel agency released this ad.
I've not seen this.
It's kind of dirty, but urging Danes to take romantic holidays. The reason being is they want more children for the country's falling birth rate. I'm not sure that's the way to do it.
I don't think that's the way to do it. I like the rabbits better.
And then let's make Singapore's birth rate. Now that's Singapore's. I'm not sure that that's the best. I think I like the Polish breeding like rabbits.
I'm with the bunnies.
Let's
stick with the bunnies.
That one seems nice.
It's the best ad. Yeah.
So the Eurostat expects 10 countries will lose population by 2040, and Poland is in 7th place. So,
come on, guys. We have a lot of Polish viewers. Let's get on it.
You know, and I know the reason why. It's because the economy isn't very strong there. And so, if you guys believe in Poland that God and Christ is King of Poland, then God will provide for you and your families, and we will be praying for you.
When you do it, and here's the thing. When you raise children in today's day and age, let's go from the American standard, because that's all I know. It is very difficult to...
I don't know how people do it, man.
I really don't know how you...
All the birthday parties that their kids have to go to with a $20 toy?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The public schools, soccer, you name it. The Amish... Okay, or our Mennonite friends, they have, 9 kids, 8 kids? Mm-hmm. And some of them are obviously grown and married now. But
and their kids make them money.
Exactly. It's all how you approach life.
Yeah.
You can do life way different, and it can cost a lot less. It does not have to.
It is a lifestyle change in a lot of ways. And a lot of our friends have embraced this. A lot of my girlfriends are on their 4th child. They're my age. They have embraced motherhood. They have embraced homemakinghood.
They are making babies for their country.
They are rocking it. Several of them are homeschooling. Most of them were in public school growing up, and maybe from our persuasion, possibly decided to homeschool. Yes, in the right direction. Some people say, "How can you show people how to raise kids if you don't have them?" And I say, I was one. I was a kid.
Now, we once had someone call us out in the comment section saying this is racist. And I'm like, well, how is it racist? Because if you're a black Brit, an Indian Brit, I don't care what color you are. I want you to make babies for your country. And then they were like, well, these are just Western countries that you're talking about. You're not talking about Africans making more Africans. Well, I got to tell you something. If you're a godly African country, a godly African family, then I want you to be making more babies, okay? It's about raising up righteous, intelligent, patriotic countrymen. Right. That's what we need. We do not have an overpopulation problem. If you're watching Resistance Chicks and you believe in overpopulation,
here these statistics are showing that the population is declining. And the only ones who are increasing their population is...
You stop it.
And here's the thing. You think about these Muslim dudes. The reason that Arab countries, these Muslim dudes can have up to 2 or 3 or 4 wives. This is
I don't
repulsive.
think... Here, first of all, we're not going to compete like that. We're not going to use their cheating ways.
You can't have 2 or 3 or 4
You're not allowed.
Stop.
No. I draw the line because we just covered that.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see the episode that we did after the InfoWars one, man, that was a crazy and a hilarious. Were you guys here for that? I mean, it was kind of funny.
That was
episode.
Funny.
It was really rather enjoyable. I thought. And we talked about that polygamy, but it's not. They're not actually marrying. It's what did they call it? Polyamorous relationships, where you're amorous, whatever. No.
Okay, so from her home in New Jersey, Muslim journalist Ayet Orabi incites violence daily against Egypt's Christian community. The crescent must be on top of the cross.
Wow.
And this is why we do encourage more Christians to have children. We just do.
Yes.
Sorry, let me back this.
You're going to turn it down and then you can just read it.
These people have a problem. Their subordination to the Coptic Church. Let's see. This church constitutes a gang, striving to establish a Coptic mini-state.
You have to turn it down, man.
It has shared common interests with the military for a long time. Egypt is ostensibly ruled by the military. But the church gang rules from behind the scenes, or at least shares the rule. That's why the military controls all the lands throughout the country. And as well as the economic interests, the church gang is next in line. The church has huge desert lands around their monasteries. They run economic projects that equal those of a small country. It's a full-fledged mafia which nobody knows about. This mafia and its economic activity is exempt from paying taxes. And they are not subject to any supervision whatsoever. That's not all. The churches store weapons.
This is kind of exciting.
The problem of the Christians in Egypt is that they follow the church gang. They believe that Coptic Pope Tawaros, the criminal, or any other criminal who will replace him, was selected by the Lord to speak on his behalf. The church gang deceives its followers in this despicable way, just like a thief or a swindler from the Middle Ages. Even more dangerous is the fact that the church gang is using its followers in its war against Islam. It uses them to exert pressure on the Muslims. This is the reason for the call for an economic boycott against them. To tell you the truth, I have been postponing this call for a long time, but now I'm asking all the Muslims who are zealous for their religion to heed this call. Look for a Muslim alternative. Don't take money from your pocket to pay for someone who gives 1/10 of his income to the church gang, so they will establish a Coptic mini-state, stick out their tongues at the Muslims, and verbally abuse Islam. They must be made to understand that the crescent must be on top of the cross. It's inconceivable that 4.5 million Christians will control 86 million Muslims. And there you have it.
I gotta tell you, I mean, obviously, that lady and her little speech aside, that's pretty exciting news. From her standpoint, she sees those 10 million Christians as a threat. You know, she's calling them a gang. I'm like, this is sounding pretty good. They're going to make a Coptic state, right? I hope she's right.
I'm just wondering where the Christians are who blew up like a big giant Muslim church like they did on Easter and killed like 46
Well, she
Christians.
did say that they stick their tongues out at the Muslims, and that's a little bit, I don't know, it could really injure somebody that way.
Mama
Patriot Gallery.
Well, whatever you accuse somebody of is what you're guilty of.
Bingo.
So this is what she's guilty of. This is what Muslims are guilty of. They put Muhammad up on a big pedestal and think that Muhammad heard everything from God.
Right.
And Muhammad is God in a sense. And so whatever you accuse somebody else is what they're guilty of. But I wanted to come back to when you say it's innate in all of us to be a man and a wife, get married, and have children. And that's God's perfect plan. But God's perfect plan was also that each person has their own land.
Right.
And if you're growing food just multiplies itself.
Right.
It does.
And you can feed a whole family of 20.
Way more than children.
Water out of a well. Having children is expensive. What's expensive is electricity, telephones, cell phones,
right.
cars, automobiles. All that stuff you don't need. And
it's not even clothing either. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I'm going back to like a cow, right? How many people do we know that have cows that have extra whey? They have extra milk. They're trying to do what they can with this milk because they have too much milk.
No way.
Yes, way. You know what I'm saying? All right. And you don't need to buy the protein shakes if you've got the whey.
Cut out the middleman.
It's the way to go.
But we got to cut out property taxes because property taxes
illegal.
It's actually illegal to get
unconstitutional.
married and have children. Because they own all the land.
They own all the
Where
land.
are you supposed to live if you have to rent for the rest of your life?
And so life is cheap if you have land and you don't pay property taxes.
Right.
Jasper, Mom, take care of this dog.
She is dancing around right now.
Come here. What are you doing? I don't think she's wearing her thing either.
Her collar?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. See, the Friday nights are just so laid back. You guys have to deal with the fact that we're a little bit rushed and not everything is together as it should be. Sorry, guys. So I'm sure you're going to move on to another story, but before you do, I want to let you guys know that we are going to do a mail call after we stream.
And that's actually
the
going
news.
to be soon, because right now there's really nothing in the headlines right now. I'm going to talk to you. I can tell you some headlines about. We got some congressmen calling for Mueller to step down, but we haven't heard much more on the Clinton uranium one. Nobody's investigating it. We have Saudi Arabia, who may or may not be in war with Lebanon right now.
What about the prince that was killed?
Yeah, there was a prince who shot down the helicopter was grounded.
Saudi prince.
Right now, she just went, but yeah, you can take her outside again.
She obviously wants to go back out, but she needs to go out the back, I think.
Sorry, guys.
So, let me insert a little Resistance Chicks news. We keep a line out front for Jasper. It's about 20 feet long.
Come here.
Stake into the ground because she's getting older. Today is her birthday. She's 13. She's our husky. And so instead of doing the big basement stairs to go outside, she goes out front, right, to go potty. We hook her on the line. She's fine. It's great. Well, Kansas, doing what Kansas does best, because he made this super awesome leaf sucker out of, like, nothing for his big zero-turn hedge. Sydney just goosed you. Don't watch this camera when you bend over there. Anyhow, so he goes and sucks up the leaves this time of year. It's great. He goes and he's sucking up the leaves, and, of course, you can imagine where this is going. He mows over that cord, and the clip that we clip onto Jasper's collar, you know, the metal clip, was actually inside the glass. It's not a screen door. It's just a glass porch door, because you can just shut the door on it. And then all of a sudden, this was right before we went live, like for, what was it, Tuesday? I can't remember, but it sounded like an earthquake. It shook everything. So now there's no line to put Jasper on. Otherwise, I would have just like, dude, you fine. You like it outside. Are you laughing because Sydney goosed you?
A couple of times when she gets excited and thinks that somebody's going to go. So I got the leash out for Jasper for Matt to take her out.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of sexual harassment.
And Jasper, it's Sydney, when she thinks you're going to go somewhere, she'll bite you in the rear.
But it's not a real bite. It's just
really
a nip of love.
Okay, so tonight has just been laid back news. So actually, if you guys... I don't know if you
don't
want
have
to
any other news that you want to cover.
There's nothing else to cover right now.
I do want to finish this one.
Okay.
We'll round it off,
okay,
and then we'll come back again and do a separate mail call. That way we can have two different videos so they're not super long. Okay. Sorry we didn't have a lot more to cover for you guys on this Friday evening.
Good. I mean, we were almost here an hour.
I know, but we didn't cover like a lot of a big variety of news and stuff like that. But we will be back Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our UK and European news. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Come back in 5 minutes, and we will do the mail call. Right?
Yes.
So
2 minutes.
5.
5. Okay.
Give me 5.
All right.
Got to get the different picture up and stuff.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys. Can you just wait till it's finished?
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you got my